Hi, Kumar. Morning.
Hi, Jobin. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, morning, Jobin. Jobin, you can stop the recording and start it after the session started because this is getting recorded when we sharing the session to them.
Yeah, okay. Welcome again to this cloud finance training session, the second day. Uh, before we start with the training aspects, just would like to tell you that as and when the session progresses, maybe towards the end or toward in between, all people who are willing and interested to enroll, please share your email IDs and contact numbers on the chat, okay, as and when the session progresses. All right. Let me share my screen. Okay, so for today's training or basically today's session will be all about getting you familiar with the Oracle Fusion UI user interface and the navigational components, okay, on a very prima facie level, okay. Basically, those are the things that we will discuss. And then the second thing that we'll be discussing is about the security administration. This Oracle enterprise structure and financial reporting, we will understand later once we are through with the security administration in the coming days, okay. So let us have a look at the Oracle Fusion user interface, okay, just to get you started. So basically, this we have already seen the login page, right? So how do we log in? We have a URL and then we enter the credentials, the ID and password. Go back. Right, so this is the cloud-based model based on which we have the application access, the instance URL access we will be having. Similar to this, you all will be having the access. Okay, you will be given the access. So this URL, and then we will enter our user ID and password.
The CHANDHU screen is still showing PPT only.
1 second. Let me stop sharing and share again. Is the system screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, so once you enter your user ID and password, then this is the landing page basically where you will be taken to, and then there are certain icons that you see over here. Okay, this is called the navigational icon, okay, or called as a navigator, basically. Okay, so it will give you a list of navigation for all the applications that you have access to. Okay, and all the workspaces where you need to work based on your role in the organization. Okay, then this is the Oracle logo. But companies, what they do is basically they will have their logo, their respective logo in this particular space. Okay, then this is the search icon. Okay, so anything that you would want to search, do a quick search, you can search it in this particular space. Okay, then you have something called this is the home icon. So the image itself shows home. So basically it will take you to the home screen. Okay, then this is favorite and recent items. So anything, any pages or any particular workspace that you have tagged as your favorite. So basically based on, your frequent use, maybe you would want to tag it as a favorite. Okay, so basically that is how by this you can tag it as a favorite, save it, and then later on for quick access, you can go to this particular icon and click on the respective favorite tabs. So if I click on here, see here, we have this add to favorite, then manage favorite. So if you add a specific page here as a favorite, it will take you, it will give you that particular link here, and then you can navigate to that section. Then recent items, basically based on your recent activity. These are just like, the browser in any Google browser or Chrome browser, there are functionalities like marking as favorite, right? And then recent items, all those things. So the same functionality is here. Okay, with respect to the Oracle applications. Okay, then this is kind of a watch list. Similar to, again, certain applications, we have watch list, right? We want to continuously see certain, certain components or certain data aspects or certain pages with respect to that, the statistics as a watch list. So those things you can include here. Okay, there will be certain seeded pages and seeded, you can say, statistical, information that will be available to you, which you can see or have as a watch list. Okay, then this particular thing, notification. Okay, so notification is basically for, this is where you will get any kind of notification, any email notification, not email notification, I would say this is the system notification, basically with respect to approvals, or let's say, your user ID, your password has been reset. Okay, similarly, let's say there is any other messages that is coming up to you through this Oracle application, then all these will be shown as a notification, which when you click on that, you will be able to go inside and read those notifications. Okay, so that is the, this is the icon for the notification purpose. Now, this is the profile, okay, which is called settings and actions, where you will have additional settings. Okay. So if you click on this, there is, personalization. So basically setting of any specific preferences. Okay, like, regional language preferences. Okay, password, proxies, or, watch list. These are the things that you can, again, from the preferences area, you can set. Okay, then certain other, things would be there, like preferred knowledge local. Okay, this is basically, this is kind of a directory, then service. Okay, so there are certain notification related preferences that you can set from this area. Okay. Then let me. So these are just like general, settings, general page preferences or something like that. Okay. Then we have, these are for administration aspects. So one of the key things that we would constantly be looking at this is the setup and maintenance. Okay, so setup and maintenance basically will be available to you if you are a administrator. Okay, if you are a IT administrator, or a person who is supposed to do the setups, do the configurations, then you will be getting an access of this. But basically an end user, okay, a business user, you can say, will not get access to this particular setup and maintenance. A person who is in, doing the is an employee in the accounts payable department, let's say, or general ledger department, general accounting department, or receivable department, that person will not get access to this, because they are not supposed to tamper with any kind of setups. Okay, so that is why they will not be given access. We as functional consultants, I hope you remember what is the role of a functional consultant in an organization from an implementation perspective. We as functional consultants will definitely be given the access of setup and maintenance. Okay, highlight flex field, that we will understand in our later sessions. Okay, then troubleshooting, this is under this you will get some functionalities for troubleshooting any issues. Okay, running a diagnostic report, something like that will be there. Okay, so which is the section for those kind of tasks. Okay, then this we have already seen about this application. So this is what it will give you the current version of the application and all those information. Okay, let me quickly click on the home page. Okay, so this is again a springboard. So just like we have seen, like right there, then in the navigator, you had all the navigations for navigating to a particular application. All these are application, and if you click on one of these, let's say, let me click on general ledger, which is called general accounting. Okay, so under this you will get certain work areas where you click on, and then again it will lead you to some of the tasks, okay, that can be performed within each workbench or each work area. Basically these can be called as a work area. General accounting dashboard, it has certain dashboards related to general ledger. Journals, so this particular workspace, it will give you all the tasks which are to be carried out as part of the general accounting or the general ledger department tasks, like creating a journal or let's say posting a journal, all those activities. Okay, so quickly to show you. So if you see, this is a dashboard available, and then there is something called a task list. Okay, that is because of the access it is not coming up, but yeah, there is something called this task list. So in this task list you will have the sub functions and functionalities. Okay, which definitely all these all these things we will be seeing in detail in our coming sessions, but just for your understanding how the navigation and things work. Okay, so all those navigational components that you saw in the navigator, the same things will be available to you in this page also. So all these things that you see, this can be called as a springboard, where you have the access of, again, all the applications at this level also. So if you scroll to the right, you will get all the accesses. Okay, and then the work areas or workspaces, to that also you will get the access. If you scroll down, this particular section is for the notifications again. So it will give you some information related to approvals, notification, or any other kind of notification that comes to your user. Okay, so those things you can again see, though you will be able to see in the bell icon. If you click on under it and go inside it, you will see all the notification, but this will again give you some notification as a pop-up. Okay, so this is the section which again helps you have the notification details. So some of it, not all the entire notification, but some of it. Okay, then this is an analytics section. So in the analytics section, basically you will have this, there is something called infolets. Okay, these are again some more or less like a dashboards for specific specific areas or specific functionalities related to the application. So in case of general accounting, okay, with respect to the general ledger, there would be certain dashboards, or we can so call it as infolets, which will give you certain quick information for analytical purposes. Okay, so that is where this will be available to you. If I click on refresh, you will be able to see some again infolets coming up. Okay, so this is for again display of certain display of certain information for analytics or quick analysis perspective. Okay, so this is configurable. Okay, so this was just for your quick navigational aspects. A moment. Okay, now comes the part of our setup and maintenance, navigation. You just need to understand a few things from that perspective also. So let us again go to settings and actions. Okay, setup and maintenance. Frequently you will be coming to this page because we will definitely be looking at the configurational aspects, right? So that is where this page is something where we will frequently visit and do the tasks. So this particular, this you see here, setup, then compensation management. This is basically all the offerings, you can say, or the application access, okay, that you will have, and then based on that you will be able to do the setup. This is compensation management, one of the module in the HCM applications. In case of financials, you will click on this drop down and you will have something called financials under here. Okay, financial offerings. So you click on that and it will give you a list of all the functional areas that are available under the financial application. So if you look here under this functional area, you have initial users, enterprise profile, legal structure, financial reporting structure, general ledger, organization structure, resources, workforce structure, payable, payment. So here you will see functional areas related to application, as well as certain common, functional areas which are as a common setups that you would have to do, which are not specific to any application, but in general setups. Okay, so that is where you will have the all the functional areas available. So against this, you see shared. Shared means it is shared across all applications. Some of the aspects, some of the setups. Okay, some of them are very specific setups related to very specific applications. Like this case, payables, general ledger. These are all applications. Okay, payments. Okay, these are all application sub modules, I would say, rather under the financial application. Okay, now in order to be able to configure them, okay, if you click on this particular functional area, okay, on the right hand side you see something's popped up. Okay, what are these? Basically, these are all the setups under this functional area, under the general ledger functional area. All the setups are available under this section. When you click on a particular functional area, this is where all the tasks will be displayed. And depending upon, so more or less, these tasks are in sequence. Okay, in sequence of the setups that need to be performed for general ledger application. Okay, so that is where we will come when we look at the general ledger application. Similarly, when we look at the payable configuration, we will be able to we will be actually coming to this area, select the task, and then do the respective setup. So there is a task, okay, and then there is a scope. So scope will be basically certain, like, in general ledger there will be a ledger, so that will be our scope of work. So this is basically a scope of work where you want to do the setups. So this all things we will discuss in detail when we see the configurational aspects. Then this is the search task. So let's say if you don't know a certain setup task, which under which functional area it is. Okay, let's say manage primary ledger is a task, setup task. You don't know under which functional area it is. So in that case, either you will have to go in one by one to these functional areas and check. But other than that, we have one more option for searching it. Okay, so simply you can, if you know the name or a keywords, you can enter here and then you can search. Okay, so how is the search key basically done? See, like this case, manage percentage data percentage access. This is one of the setup tasks. I don't know the complete name of the task, let's say. Okay, then in that case, I'll enter the keywords, and between the keywords, the operator would be percentage. Okay, so that is how. So in some of the other softwares, let's say, or in maybe other applications, not in Oracle, I would say, in any other vendor applications, asterisk might be a search key. Similar to that, percentage is the case in case of Oracle applications. Okay, so you can enter percentage between the keywords and search the task list. Basically the specific task that you are searching for. Okay, so this is just a high-level navigational understanding that I wanted to give you. And now we will move into the main aspect, or the foremost aspect, that anyone needs to understand about the Oracle applications, that is the security administration. Okay. Sorry. Is my PPT visible now? Or is it still the application screen?
No, PPT is visible.
Okay. Okay. Understanding the security, or having a general understanding on the security aspect. Okay. So for any any softwares or any, applications that you work day in and day out, okay, there is a security component. Okay, so first level of security is what? The user ID and password, right? So that is the first thing that secures the access. So that is something which will again be part of the security. Okay, then similarly inside that, once you enter an application based on your profile, okay, you should have the access. Okay, you will never have an access on all each and everything in the particular application. That is how the security is administered. So the three basic question when it comes to understanding of security, okay, who is to be given the access? That is the first question. Okay, second, what is the access that particular person needs to be given? Okay, who is what? Who is the person? Okay, who will be given the access? What are the functionalities? Okay, or what are the application and the subsequent or the underlying functionalities that the person needs to be given access to? That is where the what question comes up. Okay, and the third question is which data? Okay, what is the kind of data, or which all data should he have access to? Even not all data can any person access. So let's say a supply chain person, okay, a person in the procurement department, or let's say a person in the inventory department should not have the access of the financials of the company, right? Similarly, any person who is not part of the finance department should not have access to the finance data, right? So that is again a very crucial aspect from the security perspective. So that is what, again, in applications, that is how the security structure or security architecture is basically defined. Okay, and then accordingly the accesses are given. Okay, now a very small example. Okay, who, let's say, in a business, who, that question will be, let's say we take up the finance department. Okay, a person working in a finance department. So let's say that is an employee, and he needs to be given the access. So that is where the who question is answered, and then you provide a user ID and a password. So by that they will get an access. Now what are the functions and applications he should have access to? Because he is a finance guy, he should have access to what? And again, in that also, he is a general accountant. Okay, then he should be given access to the general accounting application or the general ledger application, and then the subtasks or the sub functions under the general ledger application, like creation of journal, managing of periods. Okay, similarly a posting of journal. These are all the functions or tasks that he can perform being a general accountant. So that is where first of all he needs to be given an access of the general ledger application, and then he needs to be given the access of the subtasks that he can do as part of the general ledger application. So that is the question that is answered by the what question. Now which data? Okay, now which data means what is the type of, or which all data can he access? Okay, so within a general ledger, okay, there are many companies, right? Let's say in a particular organization, there are many legal entities, right? Maybe each legal entity are being maintained as a separate general in a separate ledger. Okay, so ledger is what? Ledger is a book of set of books, right? So basically that ledger needs each entity might be having a separate ledger. Now a person working in one entity should have access to the ledger of that particular entity only. He should not be able to have access to the ledger of another entity. So that is where which data. Okay, this might be a bit confusing for people who are not from a finance background, and maybe they are not familiar with the general ledger as an application, but it is a set of books. Let's say each legal entity, I hope you all understand, it is a very common word that we come in across daily business operations, right? So Tata Communication is a entity. Okay, Tata Motors is what? Another entity. Now the set of books of Tata Motors should not be accessible to the set of by the person working in a Tata Communications. Okay, so that is where which data. access need to be given? That is also a key question that needs to be answered when it comes to the security administration part. Okay, now we will go into the in-depth of the Fusion security, Oracle Fusion security, how the security is basically structured, or what is the architecture. So it is a role-based security model. Okay. In Fusion applications, it is a role-based security model. So what is a role-based security model? Okay. Users are assigned roles through which they gain access to function and data within the application. Okay. That means basically they will be given something called a role. Once a user has what? A user ID and a password. Now, in order to be able to carry out his business duties, he needs to have access to the application and the data, right? Application functions and the data. So that is where a particular role will be assigned to him based on the role he carries out in his business. I mean, in the organization. Okay, so the very easily relatable from a finance perspective example would be an accounts payable person, okay, who is part of the accounts payable department. His role in the organization is what? Accountant role, accounts payable accountant role. Okay, so in system there is a role created by the name called accounts payable accountant. Okay, role in system it is, I mean in Fusion application it is there, which gives specific accesses to the accounts payable application along with the functions, okay, within that. Okay, whatever functions he has to carry out in his business operations as part of the accounts payable team, like, you know, creating an invoice, okay, creating a payment. Okay, so these are posting an invoice, posting a payment, these are all the activities he needs to carry out as part of what? As part of his role in the accounts payable department in the organization, in the real life organization. Okay, so that is where in Oracle also there will be a role available, which is you know, for the access of accounts payable application as well as the functions within that and data within that. Okay, all of a user roles are active concurrently. Okay, that means all the roles that are assigned to him. Okay, maybe a person is supposed to handle accounts payable activities also as well as a general ledger activity. Let's say it is possible, right? In a small organization, one person might be doing one person might be discharging multiple roles, right? So that is where he will be given what? Access to all the things that he is working on. Let's say he's also a general accountant. He is also an accounts payable accountant. He will be given the role of roles related to general accounting, as well as the role related to accounts payable. Okay, now all these roles are active concurrently. That means he doesn't have to, you know, switch to a particular role in order to be able to discharge the activities, or in order to be able to carry out the activities. So like in EBIS, people who are familiar with the on-premise application that was called e-business suite, they will be knowing that if they want to carry out a particular activity, okay, they will have to first switch to a particular responsibility related to that particular application, and then only they will be able to do that or carry out that function. That is not the case. They don't have to do that switching activity. Okay, they can simply navigate to the respective application and they will be able to carry out their tasks based on the roles that are provided to them. Okay, so that is what is mentioned here. User do not have to select a role when they sign in. Okay. Now, role-based security example. Okay, these are the examples. Who, the answer who, in this case, the example Christopher. Okay? Christopher is the person that needs to be given the access to the Oracle applications. Okay, so he is what? He is a user. Okay, and then he is what? His function in a particular organization. First of all, he is what? He is an employee. Okay, so that is where he has to discharge, or he has to carry out certain employee related activities, right? Every employee in an organization, from more or less, you know, that is the HR perspective. From an HR perspective, he has to, you know, carry out certain activities, like, whenever he goes on leave, he has to raise a leave approval request, which then it would be going to its manager, then getting approved, and all those activities. So this is just one example that he has to carry out as an employee. Okay, so that is why he needs to be given the access of an employee, first of all, because he is what? He is an employee of the business. Okay, so that is where he needs to be provided a role called employee. Okay, then there are many other functions. Okay, this is just for your basic or a layman terms, on a layman terms for your understanding. Employee role. Okay, then there are certain roles with very specific to the job he has to perform in the organization. So the person is an employee. Now he is part of what? The general accounting department. Okay, so that is where he needs to have an access to carry out all the activities related to general accounting. Okay, so that is where there is there are roles called general accountant role and then general accounting manager role. Okay, why are these also separate? Okay, because a general accountant will be a junior role. Okay, basically he will be tasked with creating of journal entries, posting of journal entries, and all those things. Now general accounting manager, why there is a separate role? Because there are many functions that a manager has to do, which a general accountant or a junior or a subordinate should not have access to. Okay, one of the best example is the maintaining the periods, that are the accounting periods, right? So in the business world, from the finance department perspective, period is a very important and a crucial aspect. Okay, from the accounting perspective, every period, okay, the accounting has to be maintained properly, and then that period is closed off, and then the new period is open. Okay, and then with that particular, in that month or in that particular period, whatever activities are then are recorded. So this period close activity, okay, is something as I would like to just highlight as an example for you to relate. So this is something which needs to be given the access to only the general accounting manager. Okay, so that is where there is a separate role for general accounting manager. Okay, so these are all the seeded roles, or seeded means the Oracle provided roles. Okay, seeded, the word seeded stands for Oracle provided roles or inbuilt roles, we can say. Okay, that comes already with the Oracle application. Okay, so this is the example. Now he is a manager, as well as he needs sometimes accesses to carry out the task that is done by the junior. So that is where both these roles are provided to him. If he was a subordinate, then only this role would have been provided to him, general accountant. Okay. Now these are some of the examples, okay, of all the seeded roles that you will see from a financial consultant, or let's say finance application perspective. These are all the seeded roles that you will see. Okay, financial key seeded roles. Application implementation consultant. Okay, now what is this application implementation consultant? Okay, basically this role is required by the implementation functional consultants who are supposed to do what? Supposed to do the setups. Okay, so any person who is a consultant, implementation consultant, and needs access to setups, then this is the role that needs to be provided to him or her. Okay, then general accountant, general accounting manager, these are for the general ledger. Similarly, accounts payable invoice supervisor, this is for invoice related activities to be carried out. So accounts for the accounts payable application. Then accounts payable payment supervisor, accounts payable manager, receivable specialist, accounts receivable manager, asset accountant, asset accounting manager, cash manager, which is for cash management. Then these are for expense application. Okay. So these are all what? These are all some of the examples of the seeded roles that Oracle provides, inbuilt roles, you can say. Okay. Now, types of roles. Okay, so this is, we understood, right? It is a role-based model in Oracle. Okay, so we have the roles categorized into different types, and then the roles are also what? Roles are also like defined with many functions and privileges, so that we will understand the structure of a particular role. Okay, now to understand the main first aspect, that is abstract role and job role. Abstract roles are like, abstract role group users without respect to a specific job, such as employee. Okay, so this abstract roles are roles which are not related to a specific job that they need to carry out in the organization. Okay, rather it is what? It is in general, a role in general, just like the example of an employee. Okay, employee is what? He is an employee in general in the organization, right? So that is where there is a role called employee, and that is categorized as a abstract role. Now there are something called job roles. Now job roles are what? Specific to the roles which are specific to the job that they need to carry out in the organization. Okay, so what is the example? Accounts payable manager. So accounts payable manager is a job that an accounts payable manager needs to carry out. Okay, so that is why there is a role called job role. Okay, so these are all the ones that you see here: general accountant, accounts payable, asset accountant. All these are job roles. Okay, now how a job role is created, okay, that we need to understand. Okay, so a job role basically constitutes of multiple duty roles. Okay, so a job, accountant is a job, right? Accounts payable manager or an accounts payable accountant is a job. Now, what are the duties that a person, that an accounts payable manager has to carry out in the organization? Okay, so what are the examples? Sorry, let me open the Excel sheet. Okay, job is what? Job is that of accounts payable accountant. Okay, this is his role in the organization, accounts payable accountant. And now as part of, so that is what it is categorized as a job. Now this job has what? Certain duties. Okay, so under this, what are the duties? Like invoice creation. Okay, then invoice maintenance, or maintaining invoices, right? Similarly, creating payments, right? Or managing payments. Okay, so these are all what part of his duties that he need to carry out as part of the accounts payable team, accounts payable job. Okay, so that is where these are duties that he needs to carry out. Okay, now access to these duties, or you can say functions. Okay, these are also called functions that he need to carry out. Okay, so this invoice creation, okay, maintaining an invoice, or let's say in general, this would be what? Invoice processing, I would say. Okay, duties related to invoice processing. Okay, duties related to payment processing. So this invoice processing duty and payment processing duty, okay, this would be what? These are the duties that he needs to perform. And in Oracle application also, okay, these are categorized as duty roles. Okay, invoice processing and payment processing. Okay, these are called what? These are duty roles, okay, which they need to carry out. Now these two duties, let's say these two are similar, or many more duties together would form the job of a job of accounts payable accountant. Okay, now duties again consist of many subtasks that need to be performed. Okay, like this was the example: invoice creation, maintaining of invoice. Similarly, you can say, let me add few more, like canceling of invoice. Okay, accounting of invoice. Similarly, let's say sending invoice for approvals. Okay, Then in case of payments also, voiding of payments. Okay, then what do we have? Stop payments. Okay, printing of payment documents, XYZ, many more. So these are all what? These are all privileges. These are called privileges under duties. Okay. So a person who is supposed to, let's say a person who is not supposed to be able to cancel invoice. Okay, only a manager should be able to cancel an invoice. Then the privilege related to canceling of invoices will be removed from his role. Okay, so these are all privileges, okay, that you can term it as. Okay, so multiple privileges together, they form what? A particular duty. Okay, so in this case, invoice creation, canceling of invoice, accounting of invoice, maintaining invoice, sending invoices for approval. These are all some or at some or the other level, these are all privileges. Okay, now these privileges together, they will form what? The duty of invoice processing. Okay, and then along with similarly, there will be payment processing related duties. Similarly, there will be many other aspects related to reporting. All those together will form the duty. Okay, certain duties, and then these duties in turn will create the job. Okay, so this is how the structurization of the job roles are in case of Oracle Fusion application, which you will see here. Okay. So in the Oracle Fusion applications, you have, okay, what you have duty roles. Okay, above that there is privileges. Okay, privileges, then privilege in that privileges together will form duty roles. Duty roles will form job or abstract roles. Okay, so these are all just like, a diagram that is given to you. Okay, so these job roles that are created are here, okay, by the duty roles will be given to what? The user. This is the symbol for users, okay, which is now called, the activity is called role provisioning. Okay, so each user will be given the abstract or the job roles with respect to the activities that they need to carry out, okay, in the organization. So that is the role provisioning activity. Duty roles are not directly given. Okay, why? Because duty roles are something together, they will form a job. Okay, and only job roles can be assigned to the user. Okay, and then duty roles and privileges are all inherent in the job role. Okay, now once the job role is assigned, just by assigning the job role, user will not be able to carry out his activities. Okay, so basically that is where the next question of which data, okay, that is where it comes into picture. Data roles, or you can say data access components. Okay, so that data access component, in addition to the role, need to be given, okay, to the users. Okay, so there is something called a data security policy also, which is something which, if I explain right now, you will get confused. But for understanding at this level, you should understand the job roles, duty roles, okay, the role provisioning, and the data access components, okay, from a financial perspective, okay, financial application perspective. So in the third question of which data, okay, that needs to be answered. So that is where the next thing, or this particular section, data access thing, would come into picture. Now, Fusion application data access components. Okay, now what are the data accesses that need to be given? Okay, so general ledger data access. So there is a data access security. Okay, then these are something called segment value security, which we will understand later. So from a general ledger perspective, giving an access of the ledger, which is called the set of books. Okay, from a payable perspective, it is a business unit, or in a very layman terms, you can say it is an operating site or an operating unit. Okay, which we will again understand what is an operating unit, a business unit. All these are again part of what? An enterprise structure, which we will understand tomorrow. Okay, what is an enterprise structure? Okay, so for payable, business unit needs to be given the access. Okay, the data is governed based on the business unit, or you can say it as an operating unit. Okay, then in case of receivables, we have business unit and again business unit, and then reference data sets. Again, we will understand later. Payments. Okay, in case of payments, they need to have access to the bank accounts. Okay, right? So it is easily relatable for you in case of payments. So based on that, there should be a legal entity access. Okay, because bank accounts, they are maintained based on legal entities. Again, business unit control also need to be there. Okay, so these are for payment and cash management. Now, asset book, assets, in case of asset application, they need to have an access to the asset book. Asset book is what? It is a kind of a book where all the asset related transactions are recorded or segregated. That is how the data is segregated, okay, based on the asset book. So that is where asset book security need to be given to that particular user, in addition to what? In addition to the roles that are provided to them. Okay, so these are the security data access components, you can say. Okay, that needs to be additionally assigned to the users along with the jobs, okay, for even accessing or managing the data. Okay, for carrying out the transactions, for entering the data related to those applications, or to carry out their jobs or tasks. Okay, so this is the structure thing that you had to have a clarity on before we go into the system navigation to see these roles and roles and duties. Okay. All right. Any questions, please ask. On this conceptual thing, if you have any questions, please ask quickly. No questions? Okay. Guys, you can start sharing. Whoever is willing to join or getting enrolled, please give your email IDs and give your mobile numbers. And additionally, you can also get in touch with the admin team. Even based on the numbers that you share, admin team will even contact you. Okay. And one more thing to remember is, from tomorrow we are starting again going in depth into the application aspects and everything. So that is where the enrollment of yours or confirmation of your enrollment is much needed, and only people, those who confirm, will get access to the application and the video recordings. Okay, so please share your details here also, and in addition, you can get in touch with the admin team as well. The numbers were shared yesterday. Let me share it again. Kumar, can you share the number? I don't know it by heart.
Yeah, sure, Chandhu. No problem. Yeah, I think everyone in the class, we are having the details except the person name Shiva, Matal Shiva. Can I have the details, Shiva, of yours so that we can contact back to you?
Okay, so tomorrow the meeting link, there will be a change in the meeting link, which will be given to people who give their confirmation of enrollment. Okay, the meeting link will be provided to you, and also simultaneously the accesses to the recordings as well as the application access will be shared. So please confirm by today.
And one more thing, sir.
Yeah.
Can we get this PPT and all? PPT, this word.
Yeah, we
Whatever.
can share it. We can share it.
You will get it, yes.
Yeah.
All materials also will be shared to you.
The material part also.
Yeah. Whatever we discuss, we will be sharing this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any questions on this security aspect, please? The thing is, it is quite crucial to understand that architecture, the structure, okay? If you have any doubts lingering, please ask right now, because we will be moving on to the system tomorrow. Because it needs again a bit of understanding how the seeded roles are created in system. You will be able to see the navigations, and then also we will be seeing on how to create a custom role. Okay, so how even custom roles can be created, which are not the Oracle provided ones. Custom roles also can be created. We will have a quick look at that as well. Okay, so any questions on this? Okay. All right. So tomorrow, the basic agenda will be going through the system for the roles. Okay, understanding the security aspects in the system, the navigation and everything, how to go to the roles, how to see the roles, how to create a user ID. Okay, all those things. And then after that, we will go into in depth into the enterprise structure. Okay, we will go into the application training mode. Okay, where we will understand the basics first of how or what are the key things that need to be considered, okay, before starting the configurational aspects. All right, that's it for today, guys. Okay, you have
Actually,
time.
yeah, I have one more question.
Yes,
Sometimes that instance name will come different. Why? Just for knowledge purpose, I'm asking you.
which
Sometimes
one?
the instance like a day or something is there.
Yeah, so that is basically dev means development instance. Okay, or these are actually test instances. Okay, so
Okay.
that, okay, let me just give you a brief on that as well. So these instances, when you look from a real life perspective in a organization, okay,
Mhm.
they will have something called a live instance. Okay, live instance, or as it is called a production instance. So production instance is what? It is the actual instance where the business carries out its day-to-day routine business activities. Then there is something called a test instance. Okay, so test instance is basically something where the data related from the production will be copied. Okay, and all the setups from the production will be copied and kept available, so that in case of any issues, okay, or for user training perspective and all, the test instance can be utilized. They are named as dev instance also, as well as test instance also they are named. So not the routine business things will be carried out in the test instance. It is specifically kept for testing purposes, for issue resolution activities and everything. Okay, why? Because you cannot play around in the production instance. You should never play around in the production instance. That is a live instance. Okay, so that is where the names of the instance will change.
Okay, so here we'll get two instance or only one instance that.
This all the instances that you would get access will be the test instance, because these are not related to any business. These are practice instances or test instances, you can say. Okay,
Okay.
but only production instance will only be given when it is an actual business. Okay, an actual organization who has purchased the licenses and all, okay, who will carry out their day-to-day business activities, they will only get access to the production instance, their respective production instances.
Okay.
Any more questions? All right, then if nothing is there, then we can wrap up for today. I hope the session was informative at this primary stage, and we will see all of you in the coming days in the sessions, and we will deep dive into the application aspects. Thank you for your time, and have a good day.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.